Some of these pieces are just museum pieces. They're not for sale, you know? Like, I mean, something like this would be 2 million, 3 million, I think. That snake piece is insane. This is exactly how the schmooped when they were schmooping. All this shit they got here, what made them decide that gold is worth the money? If you saw what your jeweler really looked like, you would look something like this deep down inside. Black China wants something. Show you some beautiful sapphires, diamond, citrine, tourmaline, sapphires, amethyst, platinum, gold. This has got everything that you could buy in sapphires that you could only see in a museum. The bison is a majestic creature. Just give me a little more. I take. On average, has a higher intellect than your average jeweler. This is a very rare gem. Should I break this showcase and beat Julia with the gem?
That's somebody sexual.
That's what the jewelry business is all about, sourcing materials, production. So many tire kickers and lowlives in this business and in this world. I've been doing business here for 17 years. I know all the best people to do business with. You know, I stand out. This is not the reality that's scripted reality. This is indeed reality. So we're gonna go see some gems. I hear they got some gems up in here. So, you know, we take a little field trip, get out of the office for a second. Black China. Black China wants something. You check the Black China. It's a budget, it's this, it's that. We'll figure out how to communicate with her and see if we can help her out. It's amazing to think at some point this thing was walking around. You know? 65 million years ago. Oh, look. Is that a dinosaur egg? Scott? You want one? We found something for Scott. Dinosaur eggs, and this is one of them right here. Look how amazing that looks. It's amazing to think that its bones could be that big and hold that much weight. They'll be walking around again one day. They get the DNA, that's all you need. Just a little bit of code, and you could recreate the whole thing. It's the beauty and the magic of DNA. You know anything about science, Jenny?
Yeah, I do.
You do, right? You're a major in science?
Yeah, chemical biology.
Oh, nice. Okay, we'll test you on some science throughout the day. How old is this motherfucker right here? 225 million years old. And this has some of the original bones, and this has some of the, this thing is 225 million years old. Those dinosaurs over there were 65 million years old. This shit is way older. 5 times as old. And it was just the simplest, look at its bones. You could tell by its bones how wacky they look. Its fingers are like this, like nothing really grew out to be elegant and smooth. The first turtles right there, one of the older ones, when things were just huge. Its shell flat. The head of this animal isn't formed to its final form yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of flat head is that with eyeballs at the top? Yeah, that's almost like a frog or a weird gator. But that's how it started at. Oh, this is a creature worth noting. When you're talking about 225 million years old, that's what you get. $22 million years ago, mammals were really small. You had to be small to survive after the fucking Holocaust of the nukes. All these representations are from like the 1950s or 40s, or like they were made. These drawings. What is that? Oh, it's a painting. 1909 it looks like. Oh yeah. The duck face worked when they were, I guess they were living by the water. And they were, you know, sifting the sands for fish and shit. Who knows? Like ducks do, I guess. Decided to take a trip to Yellowstone National Park, Diamond District. It's too miserable. The bison is a majestic creature, and it, on average, has a higher intellect than your average jeweler. Oh, Schmoopy. So I'm here looking at Schmoopy's natural habitat. I've closed the window, I've locked Schmoopies out of my house because they've ransacked it. And it's horrible, it's miserable. They belong in the wild, they don't belong in my apartment. You could really see what these animals are actually living like on a snow-covered, what do you call it, and this thing is just really moving through. And it's supposed to be like finding the tracks of a rabbit. And these majestic views that are out there. It's so amazing. Can you imagine if we just had, you know, a couple of drop tops and we were cruising through these areas, burying treasures along the way. There's so much to learn from these little creatures and the way they live, how they survive.
The malaria mosquito.
Yeah, but this is just a blown up size of it, blown up video picture of it. If you saw what your jeweler really looked like, he would look something like this deep down inside. This is what lives inside most people. A parasite. This is exactly how the schmoopied when they were schmooping. They were trying to make a bed. It gets dirty as hell though. And that's how they make a nest. Like the shells and then like a bunch of leaves. And then they lay that out and then the babies just hang out over there until they come up eventually.
That's how deep they hide the nuts.
I'd like to see the Hall of Origins for humans. Well, this is a good one. Is it over there? Yeah, well, I want to see some human shit. Let's see this. This is important. You know, that's why they got you. They also walk around like they got thick bones. They walk around like that. I know. Give me. I take. Just give me a little more. I take. I got you. This is the skull of all of our ancestors right here. This is generations ago. This would be
More than 300,000
all of
years
us.
ago, in what is now Western France, a group of early humans hunted animals at a riverside spring.
And little by little,
What can we say of their lives?
we switched it up.
What was the climate like? To find answers, a team of scientists is digging
People
through
went
the
through
ancient
shit. That's what
records of
really
the
happened.
archaeological
There's me and Julia 10 million years ago. Looking for the next sunset. Our ancestors run around naked like that, huh? Whew. They're using the stone tools to cut off the little, you know, and the other predators, they have to fend them off and shit, throw rocks at them and shit. It's the only way. The fact that we could throw a rock really gave us an advantage. We gotta pelt shit. They're still throwing rocks. In some places. And people get out of control, they pick up them rocks. You see, what you're really learning, what happened throughout this whole time, the human journey, is actually quite interesting. All of the people that don't know how to be human die. This is more or less Julia's ancestors, what they were looking like. I don't know, for real. But the moral of the story here is that if you don't adapt and learn how to be human, in the human world, you die. So Rolex actually uses these types of meteorites as dials for their watches. Chunks of metal from outer space, that are created in conditions that are extremely exotic. They slice them, they find a right place where you could get the beautiful meteor cross section, and they use that as a dial for their watches. Very nice touch by Rolex. As soon as gold, life emerged.
Yeah.
How interesting. Earth's great oxygenation.
The diamond is in there even farther. Almost at like
Diamond's at the
10,
center.
Yeah.
Diamonds were,
Right there when it started.
there's the carbon, that's why the pressure and the heat. Here in this chart, they mixed in minerals and then life in the end. They got a clamshell at the end of all this. But it starts out with the Big Bang, and one of the first things that's created is diamond. This. Right? And then round and round it goes, and then as soon as gold pops out, life emerges. That's fine. I find that quite interesting. It's coincidence, but it's interesting coincidence. So here you have a huge variety of different compounds that could be classified as gems, scudderite. I don't even know most of these. Howrite, cubonite, cobalite. Different ways that nature could mix in and make something beautiful and interesting. We haven't even scratched the surface, as you can see. This is a very interesting one right there. Galena tetrahydrite. And they tell you exactly what they're made out of, what elements. The even bigger game is played on right on here. That's the keyboard right there. To make this shit. Click, click, click. Iridium, cassiterite. Phew. Look at that hand-carved opal piece. So on and so forth. We don't really know how nature exactly creates it, or I don't, but we know that they're beautiful, rare, and special. So this is a ring available on TraxNYC.com, and this is the Museum of Natural History. There's a hell of a lot of beautiful minerals out there. How the crystals grow in sand. It's just more stories, you know? Coming here was a great idea. Museum of Natural History, this exhibit. Crystals in sand, they've got a hell of a lot of stuff. How do crystals grow in sand? Look closely at the sand crystal specimens in the case and compare their different shapes. Sand crystals form when sandy soils of arid environments as groundwater evaporates. It's boring as hell. It's boring. But essentially, this stuff is created when water evaporates. Mineral deposits. All right. More colorful over here. Yeah, these are all ridiculous, bro. The thing about this is an application for each one of these. You could make this, you could synthesize it, right? Imagine you had a building and you turned it into these little gems. Look at these, Julia. These are nice.
I love this green color, as if it's painted.
Yeah.
Nature.
Number 13. Caledonite.
It's unbelievable how many colors and spectrum of colors there is.
The purple one is nice. Yeah.
It's just you can see like how many shades of green here.
Yeah. Fantastic. So let's continue looking onward. All this shit they got here, what made them decide that gold is worth the money? That's a great question. This stuff breaks. Gold is always, it's simple. It doesn't tarnish, it doesn't crack. You can melt it down at low temperatures, recast it. You know how much it's worth relative to the size of it. These, you know, one looks like this, and then the next one looks like that. You know, how are you gonna figure out which one is how much or who's who? You know they're worth something, but how much? Gold is by the gram. It's simple. It's as simple as apple pie. If you could slice an apple pie, you could figure out the price of gold. This is not an apple pie. Look at this. It's worth money though. Look at this goblet right here, bro. Look at that thing. Somebody was sipping out of that. Somebody was walking around with that. Like this. Who was it? And the colors of the metal. You know, someone took this stone and then ground it out and then put gold on it. Because they were a baller. Well, let's see. This is number 28. Fluorite Blue John carved vase. Source material from Derbyshire, England, possibly fashioned in France, 1800s. Tiffany Morgan gem collection. Was made in the style of wine goblet. The gold-plated heads, these are gold-plated heads, and so on and so forth. Some baller shit. Different gems, different stones. This piece right here. Number 13. Fluorite, locally unknown for source material, possibly fashioned in China. Unknown date. So just stuff over history. That's amazing. Every single one of these gems. This one right here is fantastic. I've never seen nothing like this in my life. That is number 19. It's the granddaddy of them all. Extraordinary. Finest large mineral crystals ever found. Discovered in 1978. From a gem pocket of Brazilian state renowned for its mineral wealth. This is a very rare gem right here. This is a very rare gem. This is where it's at right there. It matches Julia's dress. You look like you're presenting the gem. Is it meant to be? Should I break this showcase and beat Julia with the gem? Is that what this is happening?
It's very
All these metals and how they like the minerals. It's amazing. It's amazing what you could do in the jewelry game. That's why we play with the opals. I play with these different things. I make things happen because I want to see. You know? Zoom in a little bit and it should focus in. There you go. And then you put some audio in it over it. This is the galaxy chain. And then now you focus in on that. And that's how you kind of want to do it. And then like this. Close as you need. Get the background of it. Galaxy chain is a rare chain, guys. You're looking at beautifully graduated natural sapphire bracelets. This is in the Museum of Natural History, but you can buy these bracelets for yourself via TraxNYC.com. Right? Sapphires are gems that come in every color but red. Once you get to red, people like to call them rubies, but I like to call them red sapphires. Of the sapphire wheel. These are huge, massive sapphires in purple, blue. Right? You take a look at this sapphire right here. It's a beautiful deep blue. This sapphire is around $10,000, so I can imagine how much one of those big sapphires would be, even though they have some flaws. These look like all real shit. Cartier. Yeah. Cartier joints is crazy. A little giraffe right there is bananas. The lion brooch. Yeah. Wow. This is how Cartier does their pieces right here. Look at these panthers, leopards. Number 1, 1970 panther brooch. Because the 3D modeling and this giraffe is really number 1. The giraffe is one of the most beautiful pieces here because the gems that are selected for the giraffe are specially kind of put together. 1979. This is an amazing piece. You don't need a giraffe, Julia. This is a perfect choker for you.
I would like to have one.
Look at this piece. That shit is crazy, bro. Number 12. Diamond, citrine, tourmaline, sapphires, amethyst, platinum, gold. This has got everything. It's too much. Some of these pieces are just museum pieces. They're not for sale, you know. Like, I mean, something like this would be 2 million, 3 million, I think, something around there at minimum. A dragonfly with all these gemstones, these museum pieces. That parrot pieces, you know, 1997, 99. These are all assets that were made. Rich people had a lot of stuff and dropped it. But a piece like this, that snake piece is insane. They spend all that money, you know? They love to adorn themselves in that type of around their neck. Symbolizing. Take a look at the opal on that beetle. That's the real the opals, though, the colors that you want. That's like that Anka Gems opal. That's
the one. Great.
Emeralds in that beetle right there, crispy. Now these pieces are amazing. Just the top of the jewelry shit right here. All right, guys, let's get out of here. Time to go. They want us gone. That was our day at the museum. We saw some beautiful gems, and it kind of inspired me to make more product, but in all reality, we got some beautiful gems at our shop. The opals, the sapphires. We really just saw more of what we see at work. There's a million variety of different types of gems. We didn't learn everything we wanted to learn, but just the visual knowledge of absorbing it, the way the gems were laid out in the color wheel, the way Cartier makes it and Van Cleef makes it.
So they have value, you know, you can see the true value behind it.
Exactly. No, that's absolutely the most perfect point that you can make, Jenny, to be honest, because these gems that we're getting it and we're putting it into gold, and we're putting it together and we're giving it out there for an amazing price. It's an amazing thing. Production, value, gems, colors. We're putting it together, and that's how we do business. That's how we make money, and it's underappreciated. You guys got to realize that it's underappreciated. When we raise our prices to double, and people are gonna be like, oh, those are the people at the museum and this and that, now I can't even buy their shit, it's too expensive.